I'm tapping out.
You're never tapping out. I've been getting you to tap out of this relationship for
Oh, I'll tap into that badge.
Yeah.
Like tap in golf. Hey guys.
I don't think they want that shout out.
Okay.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Welcome back to She Show Videos, where we are your hosts, Elizabeth and Brittany.
Hi.
And we are doubling down on a topic that we just talked about.
This is a part 2. So first, subscribe to our channel. Okay, take a pause and subscribe.
2.
Come back to us. 2. Watch part 1. Okay? If you have not watched part 1, you're going to be confused.
Yep.
Okay, there's a lot of intro in there, a lot of context. So go back to part 1. Okay?
So we're talking about sex in our older age and how it's increased, how it's really
The quality.
it's really skyrocketed us into our next realm of.
I do feel like, okay, if you've been watching our show at all, we talk about triple O's, out of body orgasm.
There you have it.
And I feel like, you know, when they do the rocket training, you have to like sit in the simulated rocket and they almost pass out. It's kind of like that.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
You get really lightheaded.
God.
You get really lightheaded.
Man.
I'm gonna tell you that.
Who knew? I think a lot of people knew, but we didn't know.
I had no idea.
So yes, the quality is increasing.
We know what. Yeah. So just to give you a little start off. We know what we want. We've been there. We've tried different things. Now we are very secure in the things that we want. Also, we are very secure with ourselves at this point. So we don't really have that hesitation. Like, again, started from the bottom.
Yeah.
And then you come on up.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting because we have a similar perspective, but our paths have been totally different. So, I did a lot of banging when I was younger. Okay? Collected a couple notches, a couple handfuls of partners I had. Okay? And then I got married, and I've had the same dick for 17 years.
How does that make you feel?
Nauseous. Okay? But in that 17 years, it's almost like I've had like 3 different versions of. Yes, of myself and of my husband. And then you have had, you were a slow go at the beginning, we'll call it, okay?
Holy roller.
Clean teen for life over here.
Thank you.
Okay? And then you had a blip on the radar called marriage. And now you're back out here as a more mature and, like you said, less self-conscious woman who is respectful of yourself unless you suck dick. Somebody once told me that if you suck dick, it's disrespectful.
That person is not credible.
Can you believe that?
That person's not credible.
But now you have this respect for yourself. You know what you want. You're an open communicator. Like, you're not settling for C- dick all the time.
No.
You're also not settling for C- like mental or emotional type relationships. If you gotta ghost a motherfucker, I know you will.
I would never.
Nicholas told you it was fine, and I know that you have done it.
I would never do it. Oh my God.
So it's interesting to me that we both took kind of these 2 different paths, but now find ourselves in a very similar perspective.
I agree. So I feel like this topic, or this episode, is mostly focused on our perspective of men. So typically we talk about how we look at men, but I want to kind of like flip the script and say, like,
okay,
do men, like, right now in our lives, we are more focused on men who care about our orgasms more than anything else. We're selfish lovers. We've established that time and time again.
Yep, it's not a secret.
So, do men care that women orgasm?
I sure hope so.
Because now,
you've told some stories recently, and I'm not sure.
Well, now I go on like TikTok and different places, and these men are like educating other men on how to do things, and I'm like, it's weird because I don't really think that most men know how to make a woman orgasm.
Interesting take. How about this? Men historically mature at a lesser pace than women. It's like 3-4 years behind.
Okay.
So maybe men are still finding that level of sturdiness or foundation where they are comfortable enough to ask questions and give an answer and do what they need to do. So, 'cause it took us 29 years of life. Okay, and so maybe they just need a few more years to catch up to us.
See, that makes sense, because as I'm like going into TikTok and most of our Instagram, since we are a sexual based like channel, is sexual stuff, and I'll send it to you and I'll be like, what the hell? I feel like every man should know to start, because it takes us longer to achieve climax. So I feel like if you really care about me, and I almost am mentally, before we even get started, know where it's going. Like, if you start by loving on Marjorie first, then I know what you're trying to do. And you're trying to get us both there. Okay. But if you do not start by loving on Marjorie first, then I know that you're not trying to achieve. Yeah. And I have recently been I'm not a ghost, like a blow smoke up your ass anymore. Like, I'm very like to the point where, like, if you start off by trying to finger bang me, I'm basically gonna say like, thank you, look at the time.
I have to poop.
Yeah, like I'm gonna look at the time.
And it's gonna be a long
Or I'm gonna say like, let's watch TV. Like, oh, let's stop. I don't want to bang.
They start with the foot bang.
That hit different. But I didn't even bang him.
Oh, you should call it. Oh, I know. I digress.
But now I'll be like, oh, I don't want to do that. I'll make up an excuse. And then I'll be like, let's watch this movie and snuggle. And then we'll snuggle.
That's a soft no.
Yeah. We'll snuggle and then I'll say, have a good night. Because I know at some point, but if you're talking about like, I'm just trying to see what Marge is about.
What that mouth do.
Fuck around and find out.
What that mouth do.
Fuck around and find out, okay?
No, I think, so we talked a long time ago, like back when we first started our channel, about how sex ed, right, focuses on VD, basically. It just shows you pictures of infected vaginas and like bumpy scabby dicks. Yeah, that's all it is. But there's no handbook or course or like, even porn, because porn is not always real, is not a good guide to how to pleasure a woman. The only way to figure it out is to ask your woman. Like, what do you like? What can I do, right? And if you're not in a situation where you have a partner that's open to that conversation, one, you're probably not in the right partnership. I'm gonna just be honest with you. But then it seems like you can go to TikTok and you can do your own research and you can find things, but you have to make the effort. Yeah. Like, because I agree. Ain't nobody got time for getting finger banged at 29 and a half years old.
I know. I
could finger bang myself way better than
exactly. That's what I'm like. What's happening down there? Because it's not happening. Like no. What you think is happening is not happening.
Not happening. Nothing's happening. My favorite is when it's like a little off center and you almost have to like move to like try and get. I'm like, what are you touching right now? What do you think you're? What is happening?
They'll go in with a sturdy thumb, and I'm like, you're hurting me.
Ow.
You're applying too much pressure.
I'm like, ow!
You're applying too much pressure
in the wrong spot. Now, if you want to move that knuckle to another location, I can have another conversation.
But yeah, I feel like I don't necessarily want to say this, but I don't want to waste my time. Like, I know what I like at this point and what I don't like. And I feel like if you're not willing to ask me or say something, or if I say like, are you gonna talk to Marjorie? And you're like, oh, I don't do that. Then oh my God.
We are also too old. And okay, let me take a step back. I'm trying to play Switzerland here. Okay? Because you know what you don't like and what you do like. But one thing you didn't mention is that you are actually exploratory.
Oh, very much
so. If someone can say, like, you relax, let me try this, let's just see, you will give it a go.
Yep.
Okay? Even if it's something that you haven't liked in the past, I think as long as you talk about it,
Except
you're
for
like,
shower sex. We're out.
right. You'll say like, we'll see.
Uh-huh.
Like let's see where it goes. But if your partner isn't willing to actually have a conversation and consider your needs and your wants and your preferences, that's not the right partner for you, and it's not the right partner for you. Like,
I feel like sex is very much a fluid thing. Like, what might work for me may not work for you. Like, you know that my nipples are very sensitive. If you love on Elizabeth after you love on me, you're gonna not find that the same things work. You're gonna have to find something else. In which, if somebody went to grab your nipples, I'm sure you'd be like, okay, this is not, like, you're gonna have to do something else.
I'd probably just let it happen the first time, and then I'm gonna say, it doesn't really do anything for me.
Where I'm gonna say, let's double back to these.
reach around.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing on that is, like, before Chris Taylor, or even pre-pregnancy, like other people would go down on me, and I was like, I'm just, you're not doing anything for me. Like, I could probably just skip this. Mm-hmm. If I skipped it now, I would end my life. Just end me. But I would, if I wasn't open-minded to like continuing that conversation and talking, like, I would be missing out on near-death experiences on a weekly basis. Okay?
I agree with that. I feel like after I had the first person, you know who you are, that opened my eyes to oral, I went to other people and I'm like, well, you're just not, like, once you have it one time.
Different.
Yeah, like, have you ever had a loud liquor down there where it's like,
no.
And I'm like, oh my god, what's happening?
Sucker.
I know.
No, I don't.
Are you trying to suck my soul out?
Maybe that's like when girls pretend to choke on a dick. Maybe he was trying to make you like. Maybe it was some ASMR.
I like looked around.
Bad ASMR. Did you turn the TV on to drown out the noise?
I was like looking around, like, what are you lapping up down there?
Oh, you know.
It wasn't that. Trust me.
Yeah, it is very fluid, and it's almost like we do know what we like and what we don't like. But I feel like as humans, especially as women, our preferences don't really change, but they definitely like revise. Like, I don't intensify maybe, or I don't know. It's almost like your taste buds, you know how they like change every few years?
7 years,
If you hate asparagus, you're probably never gonna love it, but you might be able to eat it in a couple years. Like, I don't know. So it's important not to, I think you never shut anything down all the way unless it's painful. Bitch, I'm not getting my fucking shoulder dislocated.
My tricky hip says no to shower sex every single time.
Exactly. But like, you know, just talk about it.
Yeah. I feel like sexploration is the key to an evolutionary sexual relationship. You have to be willing to evolve, especially with your sake, 17 years in one person. Like, if you didn't evolve and you and Chris Taylor were still having sex like 05.
Would I even know? That's what I keep at. That's what we talked about in part 1. If you didn't watch it, would I even know?
If I was still having sex like,
because I would be one of our
07?
friends. I would be one of the girls who comes and tells you, oh yeah, our sex is great. Oh yeah, our sex is great. Like,
but is it?
That is what I would be saying. So it is a bizarre concept.
But is it?
Having a stagnant or non-existent like approach to sexploration is just mind-boggling to me.
I feel like that's why you just need to have a very diverse group of friends, because I know some people who would be like, I never go to the sex store, and now I'm like, well, I was never that friend, to tell you the honest
world's
truth.
greatest gift.
I know, I was never that friend. I was like, let's go.
Sunglasses there.
We know. So there are different people in the world, and I know that people aren't necessarily comfortable, and you don't have to like dive headfirst into the world of sex, but I think that...
I see what you did there. Head first.
But I think at some point you should be like, I'm having sex, so let's see what's out here.
Dip your toes in the water.
Yeah, and you can, with the age of Amazon, you can get stuff delivered to your house. You don't even have to go anywhere. It comes in a brown box and nobody knows you're getting...
That's true. And
bondage kits.
read the reviews. This is a real thing. If you really, I suggest going to the store because the
Oh,
girls that work in the store are so helpful.
Yeah.
They are so helpful. But if that's not your thing and you want to be more discreet, read their reviews because women be out here giving some very explicit reviews.
When I get my friend every year that Christmas gift, I'm like, I ask people, I take a poll. I take a poll of who and what they like, and then I go based on a lot of recommendations. And sometimes
true content researcher.
Sometimes they'll give me like 3 different ones, and I try to narrow it down based on what I think that person will like.
There's so much out there. Just no, there's no right way, there's no wrong way, but from both of us, I think we encourage an open mind and even a slow approach, but just some approach towards exploring new sexual horizons. Now listen, I'm vanilla, so my sexploration doesn't go far, trust me.
I'm like dulce de leche
it's out here
these days.
It's a lot of sugar. We gotta go. Bye guys.
Bye guys.
I can't.
Or can you?
No.
Yes, you can. That's a lot.